So there's a reason why Jesus was pierced in 6 places. We know 6 now represents man, aka curse. But let's look at where he was pierced. Pierced in the head, pierced in the side, pierced in both hands, pierced in both feet. So the Greek word for pierced, katanuso, it means to be pierced, not just physically, but deeply. So his suffering went beyond the surface level of the flesh, and he addressed the very root of sin. And by being pierced spiritually as well, he reconciled us back to God through his death. Let's look at why he was pierced in his hands. Was to undo the sin that we touched, that we took, and that we created with our hands to go against God's will. So instead of asking us to cut off our hands, Jesus allowed his hands to be pierced so that we could be free from the curse of our own hands, aka our own works. Isaiah 53 verse 5 tells us him being wounded in the hands was for our transgression, meaning he undid all of our sinful works by our sinful hands, by having his hands pierced for us. Zechariah chapter 13 verse 6, it says, and one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in my hands? Then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friend. Jesus' hands were wounded for us, guys, because we touched sin with our hands, we committed sin with our hands. But Jesus was wounded in his hand to cover the work of our hands.